Live. Took last week off. So good to be back. I absolutely love it when our upcoming guests to the show, the show, send me a little book to pre-read. And yeah, we don't have sponsors. Actually, we kind of do now, but that's another topic. But Dr. Darter, rural. Everybody say it with me. Rural. One of my most unfavorite words, right? I think this is the book. This is the book for what, 73% of all K 12 school districts? Rural. You might want to fact check that, but there's a lot of them out there. And yeah, I'm going to scan through this book in anticipation to have a just a lovely conversation with this dude from a guy that went from California to the state of Missouri. I don't know. That's a human interest story in itself. But welcome to the live today. Yeah, it's not quite mid-February, but January felt like it was probably a 2-year stretch. Listen, you're probably what, 6 weeks into your spring semester. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time a student chose your institution because of, and I don't have it here, your strategic plan? Just pretend I'm holding a magic strategic plan here. Do your kids give a rat's wrinkled rear end about that thing? Probably never, not once, never happened. You know what students are choosing? Yeah, and parents. So my ICP, I really split between school superintendents and college presidents. So students oftentimes are guided greatly by their people at home, right? What are they choosing? The market. Yeah, and the market really doesn't give a rat's wrinkled rear end about your 5, 3, 10-year strategic plan, your core value statement, or maybe the $45,000 that you spent discovering your core beliefs of excellence and integrity and innovation and diversity. Yeah, yeah, it looks good on the wall, but here's the math. It should probably terrify every board member that might not be listening to this live today. If you take 2.9 million people, we'll just call them students, gonzo, okay? 1.7 from higher ed since 2014 and 1.2 from K-12 since 2019. Meanwhile, what's growing? E-learning, nearly a $250 billion globally growing business. If you're looking for where's the innovation, it's really in e-learning today. Okay, that's up annually by about 15%. School choice, the federal favor upon school choice today is interesting, right? Up 23% year over year. And yeah, Federal Reserve projects another 80 additional campuses to be closed by 2029. Folks, yeah, those kids are in high school right now. Add it up. That's not a market correction. That's just a market verdict. So here's what probably nobody has been whispering in your ear. Yeah, you're all just saying, hey, this time will be different. We just need to refocus. We need to renew our energy. We need to have a pep talk with some good music, a lively speaker, and then we're going to be hitting on all cylinders again. And here's the truth. You already know it, but you won't want to say it out loud. Your January priorities, remember those from the 2-year stretch of January? Yeah, they're based on the same infrastructure that really deteriorated your July priorities. Okay, just like stop sticks, just like a stick in the spoke of your bicycles, right? You're allowed to be just dreading the next cabinet meeting where someone just proposes the word refining, the strategic plan, instead of admitting the market has already just rejected it. Totally we're part of a skier family. Track on your left, passed you right by. Yeah. Because here's what really matters. While maybe you're in your third strategic planning committee meeting of the semester, just make sure you're feeding them good food, right? Keep them engaged. The students look out the window. Look out that window over there. Students are choosing providers who already have built what you still are planning and discussing. Yeah. So let me show you with 3 leaders. I pulled a number of leaders in, not a whole bunch, but there were 9, and they were the right leaders last week. Um, both superintendents had a headmaster as well from a private. Yep, we let the privates in. They were very well behaved and quite finished. Um, but yeah, so K-12 and higher ed, put them in the same room. February 4th was the date. One of my best exchanges that I think we've had. So not a whole, like I said, not a big group, but there wasn't any keynotes, there wasn't a presentation, there were no vendor pitches, just superintendents managing like Title I schools, sitting next to university chancellor, right, and community college presidents serving like 30,000 dual credit students. They're all comparing notes with the independent school heads. Yeah, different budgets, different boards, much the same crisis, right? And here's what every single one of them had to admit. Students just really, they're not rejecting education. Amen. They're just rejecting irrelevance. Irrelevance. They're just like, we're not signing up for that. They're smarter than we were back in the day. They don't go to school just to attend school. And so here's the uncomfortable math from the research that we've done. Every year we hire a panel group to do our research. This year we had almost 1,987 is the exact number. Those teams, 73% of cabinets operate at level 1 and 2 foundation. Just kind of, if you think of our rubric, right? It's on the furthest left side of the rubric. In basic trust, just hero dependent systems, like we got to have the right leader running the joint, while attempting much of it on the right side, that level 5 work, which is managing change and resolving conflicts and just coordinating across divisions. That's standard operating procedures put into a rubric. Most leadership teams are just not ready for it. And that is a plug your nose. It's the stuff that's just getting in the way right now. You think about your average cabinet. Let's just say average member, 140K a year, not benefits, just 140K per member. And let's say you have 8 members. That's 1.1 and some change million in compensation. Yeah, the collective performance is usually at about 60% capacity. That means you're getting about $670K in value from a $1.1 million investment. Not worth betting on today, folks. That's nearly a $450,000 gap. Okay. That's a foundational problem, not a problem for your foundation where you have to raise more money. No, it is like the base, the basement foundational problem, just wearing a strategic plan, right? Let's just be honest. If you're dialing in right now, just drop in a comment. How many students has your system lost since 2019? Be honest. Be honest. I'll wait. Put it in the chat. How many since 2019? But here's what you can probably do different. There were 3 models that came out of our little churn last week, which I just want to share with you. Delightful, positive chap, Dr. Herbert Moore, Monroe. Superintendent is Surrey County, Virginia. Small school system, but they don't graduate students hoping they figured it out, right? Honestly, every senior has one of 3 confirmed destinations: enrolled, enlisted, or employed, right? Not aspirational, operational, documented, proven, right? Enrolled means college acceptance letter plus financial aid package plus registration completed. guaranteed, viably enrolled. Okay. Enlisted means military service commitment signed. Here it is, soup. Okay. Or employed means a career track job offering at least 40,000 plus in a starting salary. Now, your strategic plan probably says we prepare students for college and career readiness, right? Dr. Monroe's model says here's your job offer letter. You start on Monday at 42K. You see the difference? Again, drop in the comments. Would your board approve the 3E model? Yes or no? Would your community be licking their chops at the 3E model? Let's talk about Dr. Rick Smith. He talked about barrier busting business model. Woo, how about that for alliteration? President at Dallas College, North Lakes campus, serving 30,000 dual credit students. Not many more than that, but just 30,000 dual credit students. His institution's mission, one sentence: we're in the barrier busting business. I salute you, Dr. Smith. Honestly. Here's what it looks like. We've got food banks. We've got rail system passes. We've got clothing closets. We've got childcare. Most institutions say, hey, we don't have the budget for that, while spending six figures on strategic planning consultants. Dr. Smith's team, they just do it. Just do it. Okay. We're not talking sneakers here. We're talking Dallas College. Yeah. So the move that separates the collaborative theater is what I would call that from the actual impact. His team runs next gen sector partnerships where each college president leads specific workforce sectors. And when a student needs a program that they don't offer at his campus, guess what? Just imagine, shut your eyes and guess what? What would you do? Your student needs a program that you do not offer. They send that student to a competitor institution. Listen to that again. They're sending students to their competitors. Why? Because regional student success matters more than institutional enrollment metrics within that system. Yeah, that might be a take your own medicine moment, right? So, what's one barrier your institution could eliminate this quarter? Is it transportation? Is it childcare? Is it application fees? I heard it said today, and I love this. You can have great results or you can have great excuses, but you can't have both. Let's talk about the third one, credential stacking for immediate employment. So I love this chap's name, Dr. Joseph Jones. Joe, we call him. Superintendent at Newcastle County, Delaware. About 1,200, not students, they are apprentices. How about that? Just words mean a lot, don't they? $15.5 million in collective earnings. Average student earns nearly $20,000 a year. Graduation rate across the 3 Title I schools, 98%. We're not talking an elite hockey program here, folks. We're talking about real life, real need, real opportunities. Let those numbers sink in. Same students, everyone says they're not college ready. Different infrastructure altogether. That's what it's about. His innovation, called it the 2-week about. Right? Students alternate every 2 weeks between job site and the classroom. Brilliant. Absolutely. Students graduate employable as paraprofessionals earning 35 to 45K, not substitutes earning $12 an hour. Right? Dr. Jones told us last week there's no reason a student really has to write 5 essays in one marking period to get a better essay. It should be one essay written 5 times, ready for publication. Relevance for kids in 2026, baby. It is everything. And your strategic plan focuses on rigor. Not rural, not rigor. His students are asking, but can I pay rent? Real kids, real opportunity. So here's what these three models really prove. And I was just so heartened after that session last week. Institutional competition minus regional collaboration equals everybody loses. That's the reality. Put that on spin. But when you guarantee outcomes, you eliminate the barriers and let your students earn while they learn, the market doesn't reject you. Boom, period. The market chooses you. So here's what's at stake. You really have two options. Option one, you can walk into your next cabinet meeting and propose a refined strategic priorities and watch them stall by April, and you're going to repeat them next January. If you've been around the block a few times, you know the game. Option two is you can just build different. Pull out your strategic plan and ask your team three brutal questions I'm about to give you. Walk into your next meeting and say, before we jump into refining our plan, let's really examine what these three models teach us about building what students actually need. The leaders who break the cycle, they're not the ones with better strategic plans. They're the ones who finally listen to what the market is teaching them and build the infrastructure students actually need. It's not that difficult, folks. Okay. Dr. Monroe guaranteed every senior has confirmed employment, enlistment, or enrollment. Dr. Smith, he sends students to competitors because regional outcomes matter more than institutional metrics. And Dr. Jones, not superhuman, nearly. You should see the biceps on that dude. They just stopped defending institutional structures and started building student coherence. Isn't that what it's about? Culture, coherence, and just human systems, right? 2.9 million students left our systems. 80 more colleges are going to close by 2029. Who are the heroes and who are the victims? The question isn't whether your cabinet has talent. The question is whether they built the infrastructure, right, to move the market velocity instead of strategic planning speed. You can do this, boss. Your team can do this, but only if you start. And this week ain't too late. Seriously, honestly, just start. I kind of ascribe to Brene Brown's SFD. You can look it up because I'm not going to say that word in my live. But yeah, the SFD. You can start where you're at and know that you're going to finish someplace else. Isn't that what the joy of life is all about? So here's what you can do right now. Pull out your strategic plan. Ask yourself three brutal questions. Question one, can I guarantee where every graduate goes? Employed, enlisted, enrolled, or do I just hope that they figure it out? I'm atoning for my own sins. Honestly, as a high school principal and a superintendent back in the day, you just provided the opportunity. You didn't necessarily ensure that it happened, right? If you can't guarantee the outcomes, you have an infrastructure gap, not a student motivation problem. You really do. Question two, what's a barrier blocking student access that you could eliminate this quarter without having to go to budget approval? Or question three, am I competing with the institution across town, or am I collaborating to serve a regional workforce and just the greater holistic need? If you're competing for the same students using the same playbook, you're both losing to pathways for guaranteed employment. You don't want to lose. The honest assessment is really where transformation should be beginning, or should just begin, right? If you want to go deeper, we've built the resources to help you build different. Go to, and that's why we're here. We're here to help accelerate both your team and system success. Go to higherperformancegroup.com and click Get Started. We give you really good options so you can make better decisions. That's what it's all about. You want the team intelligence assessment? We can give you that. It'll show you exactly which foundations you're missing. It's there. You want to schedule a virtual coffee and talk through that specific context? It's there too. If you want to check out that Team Institute thing, that's our most robust program. It's right there, right? No pressure, just practical tools, right, for leaders building what students actually need. So you can comment below. What's one priority from your strategic plan that the market has already rejected? Try to use only one word. That's my challenge to you. One priority from your strategic plan. The market has already just like put its heel on it and squished it. It's gone. So you're like, I want that back. Yeah, I'm seeing innovation. I'm seeing transformation. Yeah, where's excellence? Because that normally pops up. Those are values, not market response pathways. And really, that's the gap, folks. So, yeah, next week, your cabinet treats collaboration like telepathy. Telepathy. Sounds like a fish, right? Why educational leaders keep launching cross divisional initiatives without really building coordination and infrastructure. Yeah, and then blame the resistance to, well, they right over there. You see them? They're resisting us. Let's talk about that next week. Look, it's almost mid-February. You're 6 weeks into that spring semester, feeling the weight of just knowing that what you launched in January might really fail the same reasons everything else failed last semester. Here's what you should know. The leaders who break the cycle, they're the ones with they're not the ones with better strategic plans. They're the ones who finally listen to what the market is teaching them and they build the infrastructure their students actually need. I think you could be there by June, but only if you use this week to ask some different questions. That's what it's all about. So let's build different today. I'm Dr. Joe. I'll see you next week. Peace.